You just need a custom-made golf ball.
No, I think
just
I
for
think we might
Vern.
be
They,
onto
they got
something.
stripes on them and they say range.
Episode 8, Mortgage Daddies. We got a special guest here today. The original
Dean Snell.
dad.
That's right.
My
Mortgage
dad.
Daddy's daddy.
Dean Snell. Papa Love, as I think we have said over the years.
A lot of names
What's
here.
going on?
Hanging in there. Thanks for having me. I need Mortgage Daddy's daddy.
Yeah, all right.
I
We
want-
got to change the name.
And I
Get
need
a
a
The
little-
shirt.
OG.
And I need a shirt too.
Yeah, we got plenty of
got
those.
plenty of
Somebody,
shirts.
somebody can't remember to wear his,
see
but it's
that.
okay.
I
I'm
see
always
that.
getting in trouble over here. Always getting in trouble.
Give him one instruction.
Can't throw me under the bus with your dad here. I mean,
I'm
it
just,
makes it
I'm
look
just
bad.
nervous about this thing here. So
Oh yeah, we got to get that up real high. Play that game later, maybe. So back from vacation, ready for the summer. Golf season's in full effect.
yes, getting ready to start playing here. Been down in Florida quite a bit in
Yeah.
the winter time, and we just got back from Palm Springs. So we were out there in 100-degree heat every day. Beautiful. Yeah, it's not hot.
Miss it out there?
Yeah. To come back here, but when I left, nothing was green. When I come back,
Everything's green and
so
full of pollen.
It's all back, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's good to be back. It's time to get into the season here and get moving, and some tournaments coming up, and some we'll play together in some, and
Hope
we'll
so.
win some, and we'll lose some.
Yeah, it's all right. As long as we have a good time.
Yep,
You guys win more than you lose anyway, so
on the
It's a
side
plus.
bets anyway.
Yeah, we got to,
that's all that
gotta
matters is the money.
fish those suckers in.
Yeah, just don't tell Eric.
Might have a match
He's a
on
little
Friday.
bitter from last week.
Oh yeah,
I love it.
he
Lost
had
his
to
car
work a
payment.
couple of, little overtime to make up for that one.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a tough
But
one.
it was a good time. So I wanted to kind of bring you on, talk about, obviously Mortgage Daddies is not just about mortgages. We talk about, local businesses, entrepreneurs, and, that wasn't always what you did, but that's what you turned your business into. And I wanted you to just kind of explain exactly, your path on, how you started, where you got to, and kind of what Snell Golf is now and how you did it.
So as far as golf goes, I hated golf, as a kid and didn't want to play at all. I played hockey. My whole life was hockey, and up into college, and then played after college for a little bit. But when I got out of school, I actually had an engineering degree. So I went to UMass Lowell for plastics engineering and have a minor in chemistry and math. So when I finished playing hockey, I actually worked for BF Goodrich Aerospace and Defense. Started designing parts for F-16, F-14 fighter planes, Sikorsky helicopters, Black Hawk helicopters. Most of that work was turning metal into composites. It was all based on weight. So everything was a mil spec. You had to follow the government. You had to do all the crap that they wanted you to do. So it kind of got frustrating. And I actually was driving back and forth to Marlboro from Acushnet. So I entered an ad for Titleist. Hated golf. My father was a good golfer. Matter of fact, I got a funny story about my first round of golf I ever played with my father. But I answered an ad for Titleist for a quality engineer's job. Went down, did the interview, and then I actually got an offer for Gillette, for the razor company up in Boston at the same time. I didn't hear from Titleist. I didn't hear back, so they called me back 2 weeks later and apologized and said that the resume got kind of tucked in the HR's folder.
Sounds like your Hall of Fame resume too.
Yeah, that's another story for another time. So they called and said, "Are you still interested?" I said, "Absolutely." I lived here. I lived in Acushnet.
So a
So
lot closer.
yeah, so the commute was a lot easier. So I went into R&D, 1990. Most, you guys aren't around, whatever.
I wasn't born yet.
Yeah, whatever.
I was 11 years old.
I was
All right,
close.
thank you. So I went there in 1990, didn't have a set of clubs, didn't play golf, didn't like golf at all, but I went right into research and development from the R&D work I was doing for aerospace and defense. And the first project I ever worked on was bringing cast urethane into golf. It didn't exist. So Balata was the big cover material at the time. Wound ball spun like crazy. Tour players hated it. So I designed the process to make a urethane covered golf ball. Was my first job there. And I got to work directly with Phil Mickelson and Davis Love and Peter Costas, and then Tiger. When Tiger turned professional from amateur, I spent 2 weeks with Tiger straight, with him and his father at the range at Titleist, to get him into the ball. And that process of working with the tour players, to me, was pretty cool.
That's
It's
awesome.
you do a lot of design work and spend a lot of time in R&D, and if someone can put that in play and win a U.S. Open or win a Masters, that's the validation of the product. To me, that's better than somebody telling you now 5 yards longer, now spins 300 RPMs more. So I found the satisfaction of the job more to the tour players. Became very good friends with all of them. You know, spent time on the road at their homes. You know, knowing their families, going to things like that, and created, you know, a product that had never been done and never been put into the factory. So we had to develop this process, bring it into the factory, start up really small, and this other guy and myself covered 12-hour shifts 7 days a week. So we would have to both go in and cover because nobody knew how to do it. We did it in R&D, but it didn't exist in the factory on how to make this cast urethane cover.
It's a lot harder process to make a cast
is.
urethane cover than what it used to be.
Then the
prior.
injection molding. Yeah, if you injection mold a cover, you make an 8-cavity mold every 30 seconds. And in cast urethane, it's 20 minutes to make one ball. You know, so it's very intense going around in little cups and processing and mistakes and, you know, get cross-links and cures. So anytime you make a mistake, you got to scrap the whole ball. The other materials, you can regrind it and reuse it again. So it was a lot easier. So that process, it was fun, you know, but it was a lot of work. We covered 12-hour shifts all the time. And then I had an idea to make it, this was with wound golf balls, and then I had an idea to make a solid multi-layered golf ball, which eventually became the Pro V1. So I have, I think, about 17 or 18 patents on the Pro V1 process, design, construction. I went out to see Phil Mickelson and Peter Costas out in Arizona, and you know, it was pretty well received right off the bat. There was a significant difference in performance, so it was kind of fun. And then TaylorMade had called to start a golf ball division for them. They didn't have anything in golf ball, so I was employee number one at TaylorMade. Went out to San Diego and basically built the golf ball business from ground zero. Built 3 factories with them. Started working designs now with Dustin Johnson, Jason Day, Justin Rose. A lot of the top, Sergio, you know, is a real good friend of mine to this day. I spent time in Spain with him and his family and stuff. So designing golf balls now for the TaylorMade staff guys was the next job, building up a staff, creating factories, and creating performance that, again, these guys would validate by winning professional events. So it was a challenge. You know, it was a lot of work to do. Spent a lot of time on the road, but there was some satisfaction to it, you know, when it was all said and done.
Now the Pro V1's still the biggest golf ball out there.
It is, yeah. By far, it's the number one selling golf ball, you know, by market share. It's probably in the 20-25% single model. How things
Almost
are measured.
30 years later, it's still going.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, are they tweaking it, or is it?
Yeah, they make minor changes to it. You know, the golf balls had big advancements when it went from Balata to the professional,
Yeah.
and then from professional to Pro V1, and now from Pro V1 and on, which Pro V1 was in 2000, I think it was. Wow. You know, so from Pro V1 on, every year they come out every other year, and there's minor tweaks. You can't make it go 50 yards longer and, you know, do crazy things. It's a white 1.680-inch ball with no moving parts, so there's only so much you can do with it. But the aerodynamics changed a lot, you know, creating edge angles, dimples, lift and drag coefficients to control flight. That's all part of the aerodynamics that go into making a golf ball. So that's what's worked on a lot now. Players are different now. Back when the tour players played then, they would average 160 miles an hour ball speed, and now they're 185, 190. And the ball doesn't go any faster. That's just the players.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah, 60 and 180.
professional golfing.
You got to hit the center of the face to get a ball speed.
Yeah, I don't even know if I can hit the center of the
I saw
ball.
your clubs. They're pretty new in the middle.
Yeah, no, they're brand new. I think it's just amazing, right? Like, clearly, all jokes aside, I know nothing about golf balls. Never mind everything you just said. It was like, holy shit, like, there's a lot that goes into this. It just amazes me. I did not know anything about your past that you just went over. Is that a guy from Acushnet helps build out the Pro V1 and then went to TaylorMade, which is a monster golf ball brand in itself, and built that brand up, and then to, you know, bring that full circle. Now you founded Snell Golf. What year did you founder that?
So I left TaylorMade in end of 2014, and the goal was always to try to come back home. You know, family and everybody was back here, so. For the longest time, the goal was to get back home, and you know, once the kids were through school and education and could be all paid for, with whatever path they went down. I wanted to have that done first and then be able to come back. So my goal was always to try to give back. You know, when you work with tour players, they don't pay for anything.
Yeah.
Everybody that buys products pays for it, and then the tour players get paid. So designing products for tour players have specific needs. And I mean, I can remember working with Sergio, and I spent 6 hours from 30 yards, just little pitch shots, and he could tell the difference on how high the ball pitched and how it checked.
That's crazy.
And Hale Irwin was a trajectory guy, how high it would go with a 7-iron. When we go out and work with amateur, in the 5-piece golf ball, which I did at the TaylorMade, was called Penta. That came from working with Jim Furyk, and his problem was that rescue clubs at the time were hitting the ball higher with no spin, and the balls would knuckle and fall out of the sky.
Yeah.
So I put a layer inside the ball where that rescue club would get to create spin, to keep the ball in the air, and that's where the 5 layers came from. Now, an average golfer, nobody's ever said my 4-iron knuckles and falls out of the sky.
You're
Usually
lucky
they
if it
say I
gets in
can't
the
hit
air.
it. Yeah, exactly. So working for consumers that want to pay for golf balls, I said, if I have all this technology and all this performance that we can design into a product that could fit the average golfer and give back, that's kind of what I wanted to do. So I started Snell Golf in 2015 as a direct-to-consumer business. So we have the products made, they're brought in, you order them online, and we ship straight to your house. Now, the cost to make the golf balls is no different than the cost to make Pro V1s.
Yeah.
But we don't pay any tour. I've had 7 tour players call to play the ball, and I just respectfully declined to say it's not our business model. If I pay you $250,000 a year with 10 people, that's $2.5 million. Now someone's got to pay for that. And that's going to be the consumer.
Go up drastically.
Exactly. So we don't go to pro shops unless they call us, because we don't have sales reps. And we don't do a lot of TV and marketing stuff. We stay away from the tour, and all that savings is passed right back to the consumer.
Which I appreciate, because I go out and I lose a
lot.
dozen balls every
Yeah.
single time I go out, and that's just for the first 9 holes. If
That's
I make
awesome.
the next 9.
You're one of my favorite customers.
Yeah,
Usually
no,
sits in
absolutely.
the cart for the
I call
second
that job
line, but-
security.
Yeah. No, that's I've gone and I've bought Pro V1s at the pro shop because I forgot the balls or whatever, and then you walking out and I don't remember how much they cost, $70,
65 bucks now, yeah.
$70.
Yeah, they're expensive.
It's just crazy to me, right? So, I'm not a big golfer, so it's cool that you have that space for that amateur golfer that doesn't want to spend $70 to lose 12 balls in 4 hours of golf, or I'm just out there having a couple drinks and enjoying myself.
And the quality of the ball compared to those tour balls, is there much of a difference? Any difference?
There's not. So the factory that I was using until COVID hit makes the same golf balls that TaylorMade uses. So whatever makes the TaylorMade balls makes the same. It's a factory that I did in 2011, 2012 out in Korea. We built a factory out there. So and it's a separate off-site urethane section with all the quality controls, and we spent time out there to teach them that. And since then they've added other lines. So I was using some of that equipment to make them, so the process and quality side to it fall in the same that that the top companies use. I did have some. I mean, you live and learn in this business, and when you start up new factories and you start up new processes, and everybody in a new plant thinks they know more than everybody else does, and they don't want to kind of listen. Saying I've done this for a long time. So I've had some factories where I've had to start up, and then the quality wasn't as good, and then I've shut them down and moved on. So.
Is that the toughest part at this point now, trying to get the quality that you need and the production that you need?
Yeah, and it's getting better. I
Yeah.
mean, after COVID, it was a nightmare. To give you an example, if you would buy a container of golf balls, which holds 20,000 dozen in a container, that used to cost $3,000 to have it shipped to Boston.
Just shipping.
Just the shipping, yeah, in a container. $3,000, and it would take about 4 weeks. And well, during COVID, that went to $27,000, and it took 4.5 months.
Jeez.
Oh my
So try having a business where your product's out in a boat somewhere, and they're not gonna every day they tell you next week, next month. So that went on for a long time. So COVID was good and bad for golf. I mean, everybody could play because it was an outdoor sport. Everybody wanted to play. Memberships
A lot of
went up.
people got back into golf or
Everybody,
got into golf.
they got their free stipend things. They put it into a membership, and they played. So golf was booming. So the supply's there, but the demand was there, but the supply wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
There was a huge issue in DuPont, which makes all the material for every company in golf. All the Sherlin that goes on the outer cover or the inside layer. They had a reactor that blew up. They only have 2, and one of them blew up. So there was no supply.
Jesus.
8 months. So no Titleist, everybody couldn't get any. So everybody was reducing, using what they had up to try to make the best they could, and then cutting out products. that's all turned back around again. It's starting to come back to full circle now. But it took 2 or 3 years to do that.
It's crazy how much goes into a golf ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's white, round, and rolls on the ground.
It's
And
crazy.
But the crazy side to it, we talked about the patents. When I was at Titleist and TaylorMade, we would have a patent meeting once a month, and we would review about 75 to 80 new applications and new patents every month in golf balls. And most of the patents in golf balls never get made into a product. You own those to prevent other people from trying to do something later. So the R&D groups would have, if you think about research and development, you go to work every day and you need one hit to be a home run. You fail 95% of the time, and that 5%, it's a win. So when you look at it like that, you go to work and it's better than a weatherman. They get the weather wrong every 50% of the
Right.
50% chance of rain. What kind of forecast is that?
But that's how you do it.
But that's how we did it. Yeah. So 5%, you need that one professional, one Pro V1, one Penta. All those things kind of were big incremental changes. But when you think of those 3 products, that was over 30 years.
Yeah.
So the rest of them are all minor tweaks, little things like that.
Now you guys ship all over the country?
We ship all across the U.S. and we're in 13 countries. And the biggest ones for us are in Japan and Korea, the UK, Canada. Those are the bigger of the 13
I get
countries.
texts and calls from my buddies all the time, texting me and saying, hey, you're not going to believe this. They sent me a picture. I had one yesterday. Sent me a picture of the golf ball. My name's on it, obviously. And they're over in, I was in a bachelor party in Scottsdale. We're at the house. There's a little putting green in the back, just some golf balls back there, Snell golf balls sitting there.
That's
so I get
awesome.
these texts and I get these calls from people all the time. They don't, because everybody around here that knows us or knows you and knows your company, really thinks it's just around here, and it's not. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
And you really, as far as advertising goes and how you get the name out there, most of it is just really, it's more your reputation that's just selling these golf balls at the end of the day, right?
It is, and social media was a big part of it. We've actually been, since day one, we've been restricted on what we could do for sales based on what we could get from inventory. Yeah, and that's always been that way. We grew about 30 to 40% every year since we started, and the supply was there, and then they couldn't supply us enough, so we had to look for other factories. So we kind of outgrew the fact. Then COVID hit, which created a big issue for us.
This year, you rolled out some new balls.
Yes.
Production-wise, are they coming in? Do you think you can make a push to really get it back out there and grow it with the supply that you guys have
this year is a
coming in?
huge difference for us from last year. This year is all new products. Some durability issues we had with a factory that did some things that we weren't happy with have been fixed. So
Thank God. I
Just
was
sell
running
those
out of
balls to
golf
me.
balls.
I won't even know.
Well,
I have to
I'm-
raise the price when I give them to him because
I might get them
loses.
for free / steal from the factory. So
Yeah,
when
free
supply
slash
was
steal is
going
pretty
down,
accurate.
I was running real low. I didn't know what I was going to have to do.
He was
but-
taking them out of bags that were in my back of my truck.
Oh, I've seen them.
Yeah.
Plastic
bags
So
all
I
around.
need 4 more dozen. I said, you only played one time.
Sometimes they go far away. I don't want to have to go get them. So just drop
That's what
another
happens
one.
when your dad
That's
owns a golf
product
ball
seeding,
company.
as he says.
That's right. Product seeding.
So you don't
I
share 'em
take
with
care of that.
everybody else?
I think I should be an employee of Snell Golf. I mean, that leads us to our next
They
question.
can't really go into the woods and the water though to get them, so it's a little tough.
No,
You know what?
We don't
It's
want
gotta
you
be a course without
We don't
water.
want you to find them.
I find the water. The beach is always open. But one of my next questions is, what's the plan for Snell Golf in, the next 5 to 10 years? And if you're looking for some of those outside sales reps to travel around the world, I'm available. I can work on my golf game. It needs a little bit of tweaking here and there, nothing crazy, but
You know,
where
if
do you
that
see?
comes into play, you'll be the first one I'll call.
100%. I think me and Craig need to go on the road, do a little. I'm sure our wives will like that, our kids.
That would be awesome.
Where do you see Snell Golf in the next 5 to 10 years?
Probably in 5 years, I see Milestone buying them and owning Snell Golf. That's kind of.
We'll run into the ground with just losing balls.
There's a nice corner office. I'll sit over there right next to Kevin. I don't care.
I love it. I love it. You can have my office. I'll
But
be out golfing.
you know what? We're in kind of we were this, and then COVID hit, and now we're doing this again.
Yeah.
So the next couple of years for us are obviously going to be. We have some new plans to do things. There's a lot of new programs. The emails that I get daily, everybody wants to sell you something, but there's ambassador programs. There's Amazon programs. Seller Central programs that you can use on Amazon. We got a distributor that we're adding overseas. That's a pretty hefty one. We're doing custom logo stuff now. So we just got a 15,000 dozen order from someone the other day, a bank that wants to buy them. So we got to get back to where we were. the supply, which you were talking a minute ago, Craig, is open now for us. We don't have a limitation anymore. I've secured a factory. I secure the supply with them, and the pricing side to it is all set. So they're coming in now. Everything's on the water. They're coming in monthly with POs and forecasts and plans. So things are in a much better position,
That's awesome.
today than we were. So yeah, I would say, it's, who knows what the future holds for it right now. It's family owned, we
Yeah.
got some family that work for us. My wife gets a paycheck. Since she'll probably watch this, I told her I'd put her name in it, but not that part. Cut.
Same.
No, so
We
yeah,
just call her Sassy.
yeah, we just she comes in on Fridays and gets her paycheck. But
She's
but
not
it's
helping
family friends.
babysitting my kids.
No.
Yeah, she's babysitting Friday
Yeah.
actually. So
Saves you a paycheck.
yeah, no, she still gets paid.
Direct deposit.
Yeah, but it's going good. It's family, family and friends. It was self-funded.
Yeah.
I can remember when the first container came in, it was just one 20,000 dozen container. Now we get 50, 60,000 dozen a month come in. So we had one come in that was going to last us 3 months, and now we get 50 or 60,000 a
crazy.
month. So it's a much different. We're in our third or fourth building that we've outgrown, and we're in a 17,000 square foot, pack and ship warehouse building now with an office. So things are moving in the right direction. There's been challenges, no question, but that's how you survive.
That's business.
I've always had a strong feeling that you learn by mistakes you make, and you also the challenges of things make you better. If everything's easy, then you don't really learn and get better. And I also learned a key thing where don't try to do too much too fast. Crawl, walk, run has been the philosophy I've tried to put into Snell Golf when they want to add this and add that. And I'm like, once you start doing that, they wanted to put shirts in, they want to do this, sizes are off, you're handling shipping back and forth, and you take away your focus of your core product. So, having clubs in the lineup has been asked for us, but, we're not a club company. So
Focus
for me,
on what you know.
yeah, and crawl, walk, run. Don't try to run fast. Try to get there and grow. And you guys have done the same thing. I can remember, 5 or 6 years ago when we sat down and you were going to come work over here. It was, you didn't even know what you wanted to do,
Yeah.
And it was almost just the two of you guys in the
It
beginning.
essentially was.
Yeah.
Craig and I in the
And now
office,
you got-
like two processors.
It's a beautiful place now, and you guys done a great job with it. So, but that took 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does take time. And I think, going back, COVID was great for us. Now rates go up, and now we're almost hitting that point where we're having to shift focus a little bit, get better at what we do, get faster, get more efficient, and kind of organize, because we were going from 2019 until probably 2022, 2020, just nonstop, balls to the walls, just going as fast as we could, figuring it out, making mistakes, but moving forward. And now the last year and a half or two, we've really actually have had time to build out a better system, build out better technology, build out better loan officers, give a better product. And we really just focus on what we do. We don't do anything else besides mortgages. We're not lending on auto loans. We're really not doing anything besides a mortgage. So when you call us, just like when they call you, if you want the best golf ball, you call the guy that just makes golf balls. And if you want the best mortgages, you call the guys that just do mortgages.
Exactly.
And that's what we've kind of done as well. And it's worked out pretty well for us at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, it's the way to go with it. Keep it simple, and do what you do best. And
I like that crawl, walk, run.
Yeah, you gotta
And
learn
sometime
that a
you get
little
to
bit
the
more
run.
sometimes.
Craig stops me from the running, brings me back into the walking.
Gotta get one of those choker collars sometimes for
I'm
him.
like, Craig, what do you think about this? He's like, dude, what are you thinking right now?
It's
I'm
we
like, all right.
just finished something else, or we just did this. But
So now I just don't even tell him.
it's like, the
half
yin,
the time I'm
it's
like,
like
hey,
the
Craig,
yin
I'm
and
working
yang
on
with
this.
us. But it works out good.
I just walk into his office. I'm like, hey, by the way, this thing I was working on is worked. I'm like, and he's like, how are we gonna work this out? I'm like, hire
figure
some
it
more
out.
staff. We'll
I
figure
think
it
the
out.
other thing too for me is keep it fun for the employees. Our whole company goes in. I go in first in the morning and print out the packing slips, and I'll write a thank you note to the people on the packing slips. And then when the rest of the company comes in, we all go out back. Music on. Myself included, we pack, ship, we cut the boxes up. We do that every single day, and then go to your office in the afternoon and do the job you got to do. So there's talking softball, baseball. Everybody's got kids things going on. So we haven't had a person leave yet, which is kind of nice, And You know, it's not a boot camp kind of place. You know, there's flexibility and keep your employees happy, but have fun doing it. I worked the corporate world for a long time, and it's a lot different. And I worked for two of the best golf companies in the industry, Titleist and TaylorMade, two uniquely different, distinctly different management styles. You know, with Titleist, it was very white coats and hierarchy tiered. You would talk to this one, you would talk to this one. And TaylorMade, when I was on the executive staff, we would be in the softball leagues with the people, or we'd have a birthday lunch, a birthday cake thing for everybody per month in the whole company, and the executive staff would go and talk to them about what's going on and be part of it. So just different styles. That's how they were. TaylorMade was very high engineering related, where Titleist was very high technician related. So they were just different, but two good learning experiences from two great companies. No question about it. I've been fortunate. I've been a sports guy my whole life, and hating golf and getting into golf and staying in the sports, industry and working with professional golfers of all levels, of all ages. I was lucky, very blessed to do that, and then put that into a business now that I have today. So
yeah, your
very
culture at
fortunate.
Snell Golf is top notch. I know a couple of your employees, they love it. They're never going to leave there. I think that's one of the things Craig and I have really tried to focus on is the culture. And it's probably one of the harder things to just maintain, right? You go through that 21, 22 where we're just nonstop and you start losing focus of that. You're not home as much. You're traveling more. Hours at home with the kids are tough. It's just it beats on you a little bit.
Yeah, it's a balance. Yep.
Yeah, I'm finally starting to learn some of that work-life balance, but then the interest rates or something will happen and it'll be like just
Back to the
back
ground.
to run.
Yep.
And it'll be like, all right, let's get back to crawling. Now
You
I
still
miss
got a
those
business
days.
to run, yeah.
Now, on the technology side of things, I feel like at this point, you always say, I don't know how things could get any better. Can you make the golf balls better? They're holding you guys back at this point with what you can do. Are there any, massive things in the works or changes that will elevate that will bring up a golf ball even more than what they currently are?
Yeah, I don't know if you won't see a big difference in distance. I remember when I was working at Titleist Top Flight, every year they launched the ball now 5 yards longer, now 5 yards longer, and I did the math one time, and the ball goes 600 yards. So it's clearly not true. But we're restricted on the ball velocity, and we're restricted on the distance to the USGA, and they're actually working on rolling that back on us now. They want us to make them shorter. Some of the courses they say are obsolete. But I think the big difference is the multi-layer golf balls give you, every time you can add a layer in a golf ball, you can add a different level of performance. So when you work with Dustin Johnson or Sergio or Tiger, they'll say, I need you to take spin out of an 8-iron because I can't get to a back pin. The ball hits and pulls back off and I can't control it. So we work to control the spin rate on 8-irons, 9-irons, wedges. Well, you work with an average golfer, they're saying, I can't make the ball stop on the green. So I think you can design products that fit specific targets of players and what they need in a product, which is not what the tour. It's funny because everybody wants to play a golf ball that the tour players play, and it's really the worst golf ball they could play because it's not made for you.
Enough
Yeah, everybody
speed,
needs to add
You can't
spin.
hit those layers because you're working on those
Exactly.
specific cores for the club to hit this piece of the core. And if you're not creating enough speed, you're not hitting it. So you're getting the reaction that their 8-iron would get with your 5-iron.
Yep.
And you're not going
Exactly.
to have the same results.
I can take the inside layer of a golf ball, the mantle layer that's between the core and the cover, and I could use a material that has a different kind of flex modulus, or tensile strength, or elongation, and or hardness, Sure A or Sure D hardness, and I could make that golf ball spin 5,000 or 6,000 RPMs different by changing the material. So if I gave that ball to Sergio or Dustin or Tiger, it would go up. They probably would catch it, go spin so much and come back to them. But if I give it to you that's trying to learn, you're not going to ever hit the golf ball. It's going to hit and suck back, but you might be able to hit and have it stop 5 feet closer, which may be one less 3-putt, which helps lower your scores.
That's the
Interesting.
problem. You just need a custom-made golf ball.
No, I think
Just for
we might be
Vern.
onto
They
something.
got stripes on them and they say range.
You know what? For our,
Start
I have
with
a
that.
couple of those in my bag.
He
No, I'm
needs
just
a
kidding.
bigger one.
Actually, just get them at the caddy shack. I just take the balls with me. It's much better.
The bigger, when you talk about that, Top Flight did that. It was called Magna. They actually introduced a ball that was, there's a size limit on golf balls. You can make them so small,
they're
but
not
you
at
can
the
make it
max.
as big as you want.
Oh, so you
just got to
can
fit
go
the
as
hole.
big.
Yeah.
Didn't work out well, I'm assuming.
No, they said it's easier to hit, it's easier to see, but then people get them. It's like, like when I was at Titleist, ladies' golf balls were, the ladies wanted to have their own golf ball. And the more the women started to grow in golf, which is a lot now, they wanted to play the same ball that men play because a lighter golf ball is better for a slower swing speed player because it helps with lift, but they don't want it. It's not what the guys played, it's not what the tour plays, so they came out, we had them, but it never took off.
You know what? This is a great question because I really don't know the answer to it. Are there different golf balls now for beginners or kids or somebody learning, somebody with X handicap, Y handicap?
It's a price point thing. I mean, you make a two-piece, low-spin, soft golf ball for a beginner. It helps reduce hooks and slices. It helps hit the ball up in the air a little higher. It just helps you enjoy the game a little more. You're not trying to score. You're not trying to worry about holding greens. So, you pay for performance, So I've always told people that if you ever, a true test of golf balls is if you take a two-piece golf ball and you take a tour golf ball and you go out to 100 yards. And you can do this with any brand. Everybody has a two-piece ball and a tour ball. And go out to 100 yards and hit shots in 100, 70, 60, 40, chips, putts. And if you like the way that golf ball came off low with a little check or high, bump and run, whatever it was you liked about it, use that golf ball because you can fit it to your driver after it. But if you can't tell the difference at your level at that time, just play the cheapest one because you're not there yet. You will eventually, but they're different from 100 yards and in. They're not different off the tee anymore. They all go pretty good off the tee now.
So when you see me on the golf course with a Snell ball, that's just a complete waste of money. I should be using like the beach balls so I can get a hold of it. Maybe
Or soccer
center
ball.
contact. Soccer balls.
Tennis balls.
Tennis ball fits in there, right?
Yeah.
What would you guys do if I showed up to the country club with a tennis ball and you started teeing them up?
Honestly, I don't think it would be any worse.
I don't think it would be. I can use my driver. It goes about 15, 18 feet. No big deal. I got it.
Last question. We're getting this wrapped up here, but what if you could do it all over again? Now, either Snell golf or just your whole career, what would you do differently, or would you change anything at all? It's a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, again, I was a hockey guy, so I probably would have committed myself a little bit more and played a different position in hockey, and then had a little bit better shot at playing, that final level, which I got to
You got close.
to the best level, yeah, but I never got to the top level. So, but that was my whole passion, I didn't. I just wanted to play hockey when I was a kid. I went to school with in undeclared engineering at UMass Lowell with a scholarship. So I just went there, and then you could go to all the different labs and check out what you liked. And I thought the plastic side to it was pretty interesting with the molding and the drawing, drafting, processing things. Everything's made of plastic, so kind of had an interest to me. But I was the only guy on the bus that was studying, and engineering.
Yeah, I
and
can't
playing
imagine
Division
doing
I
all
hockey.
that while playing Division I hockey.
Yeah,
It's very
so
easy.
That was tough, but I think I would have, I probably would have put a little stronger effort into that side to it, and
What position would that be?
I would have probably played defense. I played center and right wing in college and in junior hockey after college, but the defenseman now the size I was a little bit bigger now than I was then, but
Same.
but the defenseman, the height I had and the size I had, that's what they were. You
Yeah.
know? And now everybody's big. It's a different sport now. But that's kind of the main thing. As far as the golf business side to it goes, I've been very, very fortunate to be with two of the top companies and learn a lot from them and spend a lot of time on tour and have some good friends and things like that. The location side to it was tough. I was away from family and stuff, being in San Diego back and forth, traveling back
A lot
and
of
forth.
long flights.
A lot of long flights. But you got to do what you got to do at that point. But yeah, I honestly have no complaints about the career that I've had in the golf side to it. And maybe the Snell golf side to it, I would have started a little bit earlier.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. If
Yeah.
it was something you wish you did earlier.
It's just giving back, the consumers who pay the prices for these big tickets to go to and to give. I love the consumer. I get about 300 emails a day, and I answer all the customers that write stuff to me. And, they always some bad feedback, some good feedback, but I have a piece of paper on my desk, and every negative comment, I fill it in a box, whether about the ball, and every positive comment. And when the box fills up, that's a voice. That's a voice of the customer. That's what I work on next. So I use that as my R&D tool to say, okay, this guy thinks it's too hard, durability, too hard, spins too much, too little. And those voices from my customers fill boxes in of what my next product design will be. And that's how I do
Pretty
it.
cool. Well, I think that's enough for today. Learned more about golf balls and everything than I think Vern's ever going to need to know.
I just learned more about golf in the last 35 minutes than I'm ever going to use.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate
No,
it.
Yeah,
thank you
absolutely.
for coming on Mortgage Daddies. You're one of the originals.
Yeah, that's it. We got to get ready. We got a golf match on Friday, so got to get him back up and running now that he's back from California. Get him rested up so we can win some money.
I'm gonna take 2 lessons, and I'm gonna take all your dollars. I've been slow playing it for the last couple of years. I haven't busted out the real golf game. I don't want you. I'm gonna try to take you guys for the home run. Like
Anytime
what is
you
it,
want.
5,000 a hole or something like
You
that.
got my number.
There's no max on that with you.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Unlimited.
Well, the only way I would even think about doing that is if you guys both were like had your arms tied behind your back, something like that. Maybe I'd have a shot, but I still don't think so. I think you guys could kick the ball down there faster than I could hit with a golf club. So
That would be funny.
yeah, thanks, Dean, for coming on, and
My pleasure.
look forward to seeing you out there.
All righty. Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.